Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about how to heal from physical pain. I received an email from someone who found one of my videos helpful and is also very interested in, I think he found the video, the one I gave on my story with meeting Dr David R Hawkins. And he's suffering with pain. So I just wanted to share my experience around dealing with physical pain. The thing with that really inspired me from that recording with Dr. Hawkins is how he had recovered from so many different illnesses, including Dr. Hawkins had one of the afflictions that I had, which was gout, where I'd have these horrifically painful gout attacks in my feet, where they would swell up, the skin would swell up very rapidly, be excruciating pain. And sometimes I could hardly walk. I'd have to walk with a walking stick because of the extreme pain in my feet, these gout attacks. And Hawkins had that. And through doing the Course in Miracles and other spiritual work, the gout left him and had left him for many years, through doing the spiritual work of basically letting go of the belief, the inner spiritual work of his belief in believing that he had gout. So I was very inspired. In fact, I did fly up to America twice to meet Dr. Hawkins and just to shake his hands, ask him questions, and to receive his energy, his grace, that he had transcended many physical illnesses. He had also reached the state of enlightenment, and there's great value in meeting someone who's evolved to that level. So I kind of knew that if I followed his guidance, which are available in his teachings, that there was a very good chance that my gout, I also had asthma at the time, I also had kidney failure, that these afflictions may leave me. And indeed, through working the Course in Miracles, the gout attack stopped, and I haven't had gout attacks for many years and don't need medication for it. And with the cancelling my belief in kidney failure, or saying God did not create kidney failure so it's not real, which is lesson 14 of A Course in Miracles, I had a transplant. And so the symptoms of that chronic kidney failure and the need to be on a dialysis machine was released through a miracle as I did the spiritual work. So many miracles occurred, and those painful gout attacks, I haven't had any for many years now. So the few things with giving up pain. One is, I do recommend that you start doing the daily lessons of A Course in Miracles. Try not to be perfectionist about it. Just pick up one lesson, for example, every morning, read it through. It may give you instructions to do an exercise maybe twice a day in the beginning, later on many more times throughout the day, but not to be perfectionist about doing the lessons. But for me, it's like, at least read it in the morning and do my best to carry out its instructions throughout the day. And so I have been doing it for many years, every day, the Course in Miracles. When I get to lesson 365, I start again. Now these lessons are available free online. I think if you go to courseinmiracles.org, there's a little tab saying Lesson Selector. If you click on that, you just put in 1, and you can read the lesson for lesson 1. Or if you put in 2, you can read. So you can get those lessons free of charge from the internet. Otherwise, you can download low-cost apps onto your smartphone, or you can buy the book. Or in the early days, before apps, I used to have these lesson cards I could buy from the Course in Miracles websites. So doing that, I found it unlayered the ego. The other thing that was really, I found very inspiring, is that Hawkins had gone through, after cutting his thumb off with a chainsaw, he had gone through an operation without anesthetic, just by not resisting the feelings, by fully feeling the feelings. And that really, really inspired me. And I would, if I got a gout attack, which would be extremely painful, the skin would swell up very rapidly, I would just sit with those feelings, not label it, not label the location, and just be 100% with the energy. And then usually after about 30 or 40 minutes of just being fully present and not engaging in thoughts with the energy of it, there would be no pain, and I'd be able to hobble around a little bit. And through doing that, and the Course in Miracles, like saying God did not create gout, so it's not real, or I cancel my belief in gout, I'm an infinite being subject only to what I hold in mind, and doing the rest of the lessons on my life, those gout attacks stopped. So another thing was I was very inspired by the teachings of Mooji. I remember once after I had my transplant operation in the Royal Free Hospital, which I had a general anaesthetic, but afterwards I said I'd refuse all painkillers after they let me out of the operating theatre. So I refused. They gave me a morphine pump, which I refused. I asked them not to put any painkillers in with my medication. And so I went through that pain just by being with the feelings. I also recited the Lord's Prayer. But it was very, very intense. And I remember I wasn't going to get any sleep. So I just put on a recording of Mooji, where he talks about whatever you're experiencing, go to the observer of it. So it was like there was the extreme pain, and then it was like that inner question, what's actually observing the pain? And I fell asleep. So self-inquiry, which is the process of, like, if you're feeling a pain, or if you're experiencing a thought or having sensations in the body, asking what's observing that? Is there an observer which has detached observing of that, which is not giving any meaning, interest, or hook into that external phenomena? And that's also a very powerful way, when you're able to do it, of detaching from being so invested in that and allowing that healing grace to come in. It's like when the ego is not so highly identified with and obsessed with the pain or its thinking, then one accesses that limitless power which is able to remove pains and aches from the body immediately. In fact, I did have that experience when I went to see Mooji for a one-to-one. I did actually have a massive gout attack on the day, but I'd said I was going to meet him, so I literally had to hobble with excruciating pain to meet him for a one-to-one. I had this really painful foot, but when he asked me, like, what's observing what you are, and what's observing that, I had a white light spiritual experience, only described as infinite power, infinite power and love. And then when I came back into experiencing the world, there was absolutely no pain in the foot. So when you access that power of God, miracles and instant healing is possible, because you're connecting so much power by surrendering those habitual identifications with the body. Huge meaning identification, intellectualization around pains, aches, tracking the body, the location of the body, what's going on in the body. So one of the Course in Miracles lessons is I'm not a body, I'm free, for I am as God created me. You're just trying to let go of this huge obsession with the body and what's going on in the body, or a self-inquiry, like what's observing the body without any interest. And then you get these expansive, limitless states where the power and the grace of God can come in, and miracles are possible, where healings can happen, which I've experienced through doing the Course in Miracles and through following my two teachers, Mooji, who's a teacher of enlightenment, using the process, you could say, using the process of self-inquiry. What am I? But what if I'm in a limited form? What's observing that limited form? Or with Dr Hawkins, and showing how you can release all the various levels of the ego and just release that so that you can get to enlightenment.